I'm Becky Want, and he has been described as the most successful, influential and powerful producer of our time, and he still takes the train. More on that in a minute. He is the man behind the musicals like Cats and Miss Saigon and Phantom of the Opera and Mary Poppins, and one of his most successful musicals, Les Mis, is currently at the Palace Theatre here in Manchester, and you will have another chance to see it on its 25th anniversary tour, because it's going to come back, actually. It's coming back to Salford, the Larry in Salford, this August. Cameron Mackintosh, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How very nice to see you. The most performed musical in the world. Now, is this because it's got such a strong single story and such brilliant characters, do you think?
I think that is the basis of why it is. I mean, it's always, it's the same with opera as it is with musicals. I mean, the stronger the story, and as long as the music complements it, often the more productions that you get. But I think one of the things that makes Les Mis special is the fact that it's so well constructed that you don't have to be a wonderful cast like the one I'm presenting tonight at the Palace. I've seen just as powerful productions done in schools with very little money, and it's just their imagination and their devotion, because they clock on to the story. Hugo's characters are so marvellous, and Claude Schoenberg's music and the lyrics are so powerful that they just absolutely throw themselves into it, and the show works just as well, and that's very rare.
It's incredibly powerful, isn't it? It really is very powerful. It just gets to you.
It does, and it's powerful and uplifting. You know, some things are powerful and you're drained and can't speak. But, you know, at the end of Les Mis, people go, wow, and then jump to their feet because they've had an exhilarating thing. But, I mean, if you think what the underlying message is, it's the sort of survival of the human spirit. I mean, as we're sadly seeing, you know, and the dreadful things that have happened in Haiti,
yeah.
I mean, that... even though so many people have died, the people that are surviving and the people who have clung to life, they give us all a tremendous rush.
It is, so it's a universal message, isn't it?
It's a universal message, and it's a story where in every country in the world and in every and every generation you recognise the types. You know a Javert. We all know an Eponine. If you're not an Eponine yourself, the Romeo and Juliet of Marius and Cosette. You know, the steadfastness of Javert, who can only see black and white, the miserableness but the attractiveness of the Thénardiers. You know, all human life is there, and set to song.
Yes, and a brilliant score, magnificent score, I have to say. How's Gareth Gates doing as Marius?
He's fantastic. I mean, the first time I saw him audition, I just thought he lights up the stage, and unusually for someone of his generation, he's got his body has a wonderful elegance to him. I mean, he wears period clothes very well. He doesn't sort of shamble around the stage, so he absolutely looks the part, and he's a wonderful natural actor, and of course his voice totally fits this score. So it's marvellous to have somebody, in a way, in the same way as that Michael Ball I found in Manchester. God, everything started in Manchester.
And every time
I saw him, Michael Ball,
yes,
in Manchester in Pirates of Penzance at a matinee, and I went, "There's my Marius." And at that point, we didn't even have any lyrics. And I feel the same about Gareth. And Gareth's a great gift to the musical theatre, and I think it's great of him to take a year out of his life to come slap round the country doing it, because he wants A, to do a good part, and B, to play to his audience.
Is it important nowadays, have things changed now, that you feel the need to put a famous name into a production?
I didn't put Gareth in as a famous name. I put Gareth in because he was good. To be honest, at the time we cast him, the show was virtually sold out in the first 3 cities. So I knew, I mean, Les Mis is a pretty powerful, that's the name. My part of my wish for doing a completely new version, which this one is, it's so different to the London production, though it's still the same marvellous source material, is that I wanted to do a show as if it had never been done before, and therefore I wanted to find the kind of disparate talents that we had with the original show, and therefore what I was looking for were the best possible cast, and that's why Gareth got the part.
As you say, this is a redesigned Les Miserables, isn't it?
It's completely redesigned, it's completely restaged, it's completely reorchestrated, it's completely relit. The only elements that are the same. Some are the same. You know, just a little over half the costumes are the same, because actually, why would we change them? Because they were of the period. But most of the principals' costumes have been changed. So it feels like an entirely different show, and yet it's the same person you've loved for many years.
I wonder actually, Cameron, because when the tickets went on sale here in Manchester a few months ago, I was obviously walking past the Palace, and people were queuing round the block to buy the tickets when they first went on sale. I saw that queue myself, and I actually thought that they were doing X Factor auditions or something at the Palace, but no, it was for tickets for Les Mis. So I wonder about the people that queued round the block for those tickets. Are they coming expecting what they've seen here before in Manchester a couple of times?
I suspect some people may be. I mean, we just, you know, had a fantastic 6-week run at Cardiff, you know, where certainly and Cardiff has never had the show before, but an awful lot of people had seen it in other places. And I mean, I know at the end of the performance would people come up to us saying, oh, it's my favourite show, I've seen it 15 times or 20 times or 30 times, but I've never seen it like this. I love it just as much, and I want to see it again and again. So what it's done, the new version, has it given, I think, people an excuse who've seen it before to come and see a whole new show. I mean, it's something that I'm normally used to. I mean, my last two or three productions here, you know, I mean, my new version of Miss Saigon, which was completely different to the one I did at Drury Lane, and indeed my production of Oliver is completely different to the one that I originally was in 45 years ago at the Opera House here. You know,
really?
That was my first appearance on the stage anywhere, was at the Opera House Manchester in the first national tour of Oliver in 1965, and at the Palace Twang was on, which was Lionel's last great disaster, and 10 days later we opened in the middle of a fog down the way. But I was here for 4 or 5 months. I just had a ball, and Marty Webb was playing Nancy.
Fantastic. I have to tell you, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
I didn't
know that. Oh, I'm glad I surprised you.
You did. There isn't much that surprises me. We're talking about this wonderful music, this wonderful score. Let's just remind ourselves of some of the music from Les Miserables.
Master of the house, doubling out the tom, ready with a handshake and an open palm. Tells a saucy tale, makes a little stir. Customers appreciate a bon beaver. Glad to do me friends a favour. Doesn't cost me to be nice, but nothing gets you nothing. Everything has got a little price.
I dreamed a dream in time gone by, when hope was high and life worth living. I dreamed that love would never die. I dreamed that God would be forgiving. My own, pretending he's beside me. All alone, I walk with him till morning. Without him, I feel his arms around me. And when I lose my way, I close my eyes.